Get her entry. August 16th, Tuesday, 2016. M. Collis. I'm writing this from a motel in Redstone, Colorado. I've been in the same room for the past 3 days and only left to get snacks and bottled water. There haven't been any warnings on the TV yet, but I'm waiting. Whether it be a warning this time. Back in Glenwood Springs, when from it started with the warning, the emergency alert system. You know the sound, the sudden silence, then the successive beeps, followed by that flatline tone. When I heard the beeping and screeching, I assumed it was anything to worry about at most, a weather advisory. But how do you react when this comes up? System error furnace issue, an emergency action on vacation. 1 mile distance from, interception are at 70, and route Egypt 3 minutes. Preparation. Locate closest. Russia's grass ends and set. Where you are. Pleasure as they do not speak. Do not speak. Do not open your eyes. Then, your other sounds do not react to touch. Then use. All cautionary measures will result in detection warning when you left. I have the sound of 4 short beeps followed by 1. Extended. I want you to see this before going into the rest, because if you do see it, and I hope you never do, then know that all you can do is take care of yourself. You want to help your parents or siblings or partners, but you can't. Please let me share this with you, as crazy as it might sound. It might help you. I live with my mom in a small ranch house that's that close to the road, just outside of town. On Highway 6, the sun had just gone down, and the sky still had errant remnants of fading colors. The sliding door leading to the small backyard was open, and there was barely a breeze coming through it. Had been a beautiful night, disturbed only by a heavy and sporadic traffic. I didn't pay a lot of attention to it at the time, but it sounded like semis were making their way into town and then back out again. Mom was in the kitchen waiting for the water to boil for tea, and she went through her cell phone, which was charging the nearby outlet. Well, then my best friend I had stepped into the bathroom, and I was relaxed on the couch watching something. It happened right then. I found from the distance so potent and full of force, it started as a rumble in my chest before I even heard it. The vibrations rolled through me, and before I could react, I heard the sound of blasting in the distance. It was like a sub-audible rumble followed by a muffled explosion, ending in what sounded like the last bits of water going down a recently unclogged drain. I froze, and I looked back at my mom. I heard it too, she said wide-eyed. This team was just beginning to shoot from the kettle spout. I heard the bathroom door shut, and Lynn came back out, stopping at the couch. Did you hear that? Her hand was resting on a chest. Yeah, and I felt it. I look at the opening sliding door. What? Do you think my phone went off? My mom's phone went off. The kettle reached its piercing shriek, and she removed it from the stove. The TV went blank and began to buzz loudly. We read the message. I looked. My mom hooked my friend. My mom's other nose, spending the words grow scratched in all shriek. The wind pick up and night air spilled into the house. The smell was intermingled with ozone and decay. My mom went to the door and closed it. The lights went out. I saw dark shape charging past the house out of town, and strange blue and green lights emanating from their eyes. Lynn screamed. I covered her mouth instantly. My stomach dropped 3 inches into my hips. Despite all of this, it was eerily quiet outside. Aside from the wind pounding against the house, there were no screams, no frantic tires peeling down driveways. When Lyndon grabbed my hand, I almost jumped. My mom sat next to me, and the 3 of us eased onto the couch in the dark when whispered into the inky black, "Is this for real? Some sort of bizarre test or practical drill?" I felt their hands in mine and knew that on some level we realized it wasn't a joke. The wind continued, but through what I heard something else. It was the sound of a crowd talking, that it sounded like they were all speaking in whispers. I had this feeling of being far from them, but that I was drawing closer every second. because the cacophony of voices became larger, but no more intelligible. I think we should do like the warning said, at least until we hear that all is clear, I said to both of them. They both agreed in small voices, and I can only assume they were closing their eyes like I had. I have no idea how long we sat there. The sound of voices grew, but dissipated slightly as if scattered by the gusts outside. Still, I heard no human voices outside, no boots pounding on the road with the sound of engines. Then a few things happened almost at once. I felt a few puffs of cold air come in from the left and then right, moving across my face and tossing my hair. Whispers were carried on them, but I only caught snippets. Where is she that nasty? He's next. Some crying and sniffling. It sounded like it was coming from a child on time. More time. Where's my mom's hand punched in mine? It was dry, but in the way she held it, it felt different. Rumors moved, one by one in succession, the thumbs rubbing the top of my hand. I felt so familiar. I thought I can admit now that I realized right then. I remembered that touch. I couldn't be in the moment. I heard the sharp intake of breath followed by a slow rattling exhale made my blood run with ice. It sounded final. Mom's voice came out dry, paper and tired. Miss you. But you've got to get out of here, Bob, with you. They're friends eating craving life again. It's a first. You can't imagine. This was said urgently, sadly. Obviously get in the car and go. It sounded so strange, so worried my mind was racing in Lynn's and was beyond sweaty. She heard it too, near the voice, and I knew I trusted it the warning as I was trying to think of where the car keys were. Lynn's hands clenched in mine painfully hard. She convulsed on the couch and cried out. I couldn't help myself. I looked over her when I opened my eyes. I found her face 4 inches from mine with her eyes closed, breathing heavily through her nose when I asked, Soon, was she nasty, baby? You should. In Yuwen's voice was hard and cruel. She wrenched my arm towards her and my fingers slipped from my mom's hand. I won't detail the grappling fight we had partially, because the events of that night were so sudden and confusing. I hardly remember specifics. I left her writhing on the floor, yelling incoherently, and ran to the kitchen, grabbing the keys off the rack, and felt my way to the garage door in the darkness. The scratches she gave me hurt, but the tears had fallen from my eyes so that already dark and confusing world I saw was at least clear, not blurry. I had no idea what the hell was happening and knew that I was in danger merely by moving, breathing heavily and loudly, and for having my eyes open. Mom's car rolled onto the street, and I went south down 6. The town was dark. The shops were all deserted, but maybe people were just sitting and holding hands, eyes closed, waiting. I saw a few people walking slowly in the streets. If you are running, taking clunky, uncoordinated steps. They looked confused, and some looked angry. As I approached the edge of town, I saw a blockade with a small opening in the middle of the road. Men and women in black uniforms and glowing blue-green eyes watched me as I approached. They began to converge on the gap with strange brass-looking tools in their hands. I began crying as I sped up and surged through them. A few screamed as I clipped them with my car. They watched me leave with their strange eyes. What good is a blockade if they let people through? Did I do something? Or not do something? That put them at ease as I drove. Were there are others? And where did they go? Why were their eyes glowing? I couldn't shake that they felt like military. But most important of all, what the hell that I experienced, the speed with which these events took place, left me dizzy, and it took me some time for my mind to settle. So I've been sitting in this motel room now, wondering all of this, and I think I'm starting to put it together. The first piece that came to me was the acceptance that the voice I heard in the touch I felt when my father's. I didn't want to believe that, because he's been dead for 6 years now. A sudden stroke took him. As he worked in the garage one morning, he's the only one who called me bub. I'm going to stop here because it's as far as I've gotten. I want to return, but I don't know what I'll find, or even if I'll be allowed back. There's been nothing broadcasted on the news. I appreciate comments though. Update. I've been contacted by a head officially named Eldridge. He wants to speak with me about the events of that night. I meet with him tomorrow. Hopefully I'll get some answers to all this. Stay posted, everyone. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And just so you know, every time I read a story, I create a new custom theme song for it. So if you would like me to narrate your story and create a theme song for you, feel free to contact me. I'll be happy to do it and subscribe for more videos. You